Hello guys and welcome back to the Prideft podcast. My name is Clark and I am joined by my lovely cousin, Bo. Bo, how you doing?
I'm here, I'm alive, my heart's beating, my blood's pumping, my balls are swinging, I'm okay.
Nice.
But I can only be a certain amount of okay at the moment.
Yeah, we can, because Chelsea fans are in a dire moment of desperate help and something to get us out of this rut. So what we're going to do, we're going to just recap. We did do a reaction video. I don't know if you lot saw that, but we're just going to recap on the old Spurs versus Chelsea game on Sunday and go through that abysmal performance again. Just a little bit more in depth with a little bit of stats, and then we'll move on. So, Bo, tell us what's going on.
Well, as you said, yeah, if they didn't see that, check it out on our YouTube channel, the theprideft. If you're listening to this on other platforms, because they might be, check us out there. So Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. What day was it? It was Sunday at 1:30, so an early afternoon game, which is nice. I like that it was later rather than earlier in the weekend, so it didn't ruin my whole weekend. It just ruined part of it, most of it.
just half of it.
Yeah, half of the weekend was ruined. That's okay. So obviously 2-0 loss. They made it look very easy. We made them look good, and they are terrible.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, they're shit. Yeah, they're shite. But we made them look good, and we just had potable strikes again. Nothing. As we said in our post match reaction on Sunday, nothing to really talk about. Like there was just nothing to. They didn't give anything, and we didn't have much to say because it keeps happening game after game.
They just looked like they didn't want to be there at all, and in the end, I didn't want to be bloody watching it. So it was just like halfway through, I'm like, what is the point of this? We're not getting anywhere. Obviously, Silva came off with the injury 15 minutes in with a knee injury. Just to give you a little update on that, he's been assessed, been for scans and all that good stuff, and he's going to be out for up to 6 weeks or more. So that's a bit of a blow, especially 15 minutes into a derby, and it wasn't good.
That's like the worst possible news. Like literally. Silva, as obviously we have our notes. We're looking at our notes, and as you said. Silva is basically kind of been saving us from relegation. Like he's had so many good games this season, where I've been watching and I'm like, how is this guy after with everything going on, he still turns up every week and puts in a good performance. So
it's going to be the oldest as well.
Yeah, and he's the oldest exactly. He's the oldest player in the Premier League this season.
That's
how old he is. He just cracks on. He's a bionicle man. He just doesn't stop.
A machine, absolute machine. I love him.
Yeah, it's going to be a real challenge to not have him. And as you said as well, like it is apparently 6 to however many weeks. Hopefully it's just 6 and not however many. I was enthused by Wesley Fofana's performance after he came on though. So I guess it's not entirely tragic, but it is sad. And something you were saying from last week's episode as well. Was that like he is our leader on the pitch, and if the players don't have any trust in Potter and what he's doing, they will trust what he's saying. So to have him not there is tough, and it's going to be a very young, defense if he doesn't start Koulibaly, because Koulibaly is a bit dodgy.
Yeah. I mean, you could see that in the Spurs game as soon as he went off, everything sort of just went wild. People just there was no formation. Like I couldn't actually tell what bloody formation we was in.
Apparently
Felix was all over the gaff. Felix was bloody everywhere. So I'm like, what are we actually doing right now? Everything just you know what it was like, right? And I'm going to say this, right?
Hello.
little analogy thing, right?
Yeah.
If it's like when you was in school and you had that really cool teacher that you got on with, right? And but like you sort of just you done what they asked, and everything flowed smoothly, sort of thing. And then they went off sick for a substitute teacher, and all hell broke loose, and you were throwing paper at everyone and rubbers and bloody blue tack and everything.
Yeah.
That is literally what happened in that game. Our teacher went off, substitute came on, they went, nah, oh well.
I'm not having it.
It's done.
It's time to take the piss, come on. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it takes it, it's the scare factor of like having to play against Thiago Silva just goes, and it's like, well, let's have a laugh then. And the mad thing is that Spurs didn't really do much, to be honest, like with that in mind, did they?
Yeah.
And obviously, I can't really remember too much massive happening in the first half. I guess the Ziyech moment obviously is a big one.
Yeah. Yeah, right at the end of the first half.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
If people didn't watch it, basically a little tackle went on, and then Ziyech literally just reacted to what the Tottenham players done to him. Little push shove.
It was Royale, wasn't it?
Everybody getting in the thing, and then Royale's come out of nowhere, pushed Ziyech. Ziyech turned round, and it looks initially like he's chinned him, and I thought, good on you, son, good on you. But he hasn't. He's hit his shoulder, and his hand slipped off the shoulder, and it's hit his face by accident, and he's gone down, as you do, because it's the Premier League. So the refs gave him a red card for Hakim Ziyech before going to the VAR, which is a bit of a strange move. And he's been told by the VAR people, go and have a look, go and have a gander. He's looked, watched about 3 angles, and from the first angle, it looks like it's bloody Fight Club. But from the other angle, actually, Royale started it. He's pushed him away, sort of thing. And the ref rescinded his red card. So a bit of luck, but a bit of not, because you know what? I was hoping he would go off.
Yeah, it was bittersweet, wasn't it? It was like, part of me was like, it'd be quite good to see Ziyech get sent off, because he definitely can't play for the rest of the game.
Exactly.
That might be nice.
Or the next 3 games.
Or the next 3, that's a good point. But then I also thought, but no, actually, that gives Potter an excuse for losing the game. Because it was like, we were going to lose anyway, of course we were. But that would be an easy out, and it'd be like, I'm going to do a Brummie accent here. Oh no, we got to play a central, so I couldn't win the game. That's not fair to me, is it?
Never do that.
I've been watching a lot of Peaky Blinders recently, just finished it, so I'm in the mood. But yeah, so strange situation. I can do a really good Arthur, by the way. I'm not going to do it now, but I'll do it later for you.
Go on.
All right. Linda, what are you doing, Linda? I'm a man of God. There you go. That's not bad.
It's actually quite good.
It's not bad. Anyway, so sorry about that little detour. But watch Peaky Blinders if you haven't. It's pretty good. Other shows are available. Hey, exactly. I don't know why we're so worried about getting sued. Like, no one's going to get, this is our own show. We're not going to get in trouble. Anyway, what the hell? Yeah, sorry. So VAR, referees, Premier League referees, it's a mess. Of course it is. It always is.
Absolute mess.
Ziyech doesn't get sent off, which means he does play for most of the game, I think. Once again, we didn't even talk about starting lineups, but once again, why is he even in it? I just can't, see it here. James, Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, Chilwell, Arrizabalaga, Fernandes, Cheek, Loftus-Cheek, Felix, Sterling, Ziyech, Havertz.
I was happy to see Sterling starting.
Yeah, me too. I actually quite liked.
It was again. It was like lackluster. Sterling's a good player. Don't get me wrong, right? And I do like Sterling. I like the way he goes about himself as well. But it's just he's not having a good season. But you can't solely blame him. You've got to blame the players around him. But then you could also say he was good at Man City because of the players around him. Yeah. So it's one of those. As you said in the previous episodes, if you match a baller with a baller, they're going to bowl.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
And we haven't got no bowlers to match with him.
No,
so,
exactly.
But I was hoping Felix would. But for some reason, Felix looked like he was on bloody absolute, caffeine high. I was going to say something else. He looked like he was on something and was just running around like a maniac for the first 15 minutes. Nearly scored us a goal, to be fair. Very close. He little hit. Well, he's gone for it, but he's slid instead of actually going. So anyway, Sterling, bit lackluster, but I did like to see him starting instead of Mount. So that's no,
it's fair enough. Yeah, I mean we've got so many options. It's like I guess it's nice for Potter in a way. People keep going on about how he's got too many players to manage, but I'm sorry, a proper coach worth their salt would be like, look, you're not my guy. I'm going to stick with this. This guy is my guy, and stick to him. But obviously, Potter's not doing that, which is we've had a lot of weird squads.
I'm not too sure why we're playing Havertz still. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, literally no. I mean, it's a good question, and it needs to be asked. True, I don't know either, but
like, why
I guess
wasn't,
it is.
What's his name? David. David.
Oh, Datro. Datro Fofana. Yeah,
Fofana. Datro. That's the one. That's his middle name, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's David. David Datro Fofana. But I guess we have to say it that way because if we just say Fofana, we'll get mixed up with the other ones.
So Datro Fofana, I don't know why he's not starting. Havertz, I don't know why he's starting. And what I listened to a podcast and all that stuff, and I heard, if we're all going on, why is Havertz starting, right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it's just Potter, but any other coach, if you're going to start your best player, right, that you've seen in the training ground. So what the hell is Havertz doing better than Fofana or Aubameyang to start ahead of them? That's the questions we've got to be asking. Because if a non sort of normal number 9 is your starting pick for a number 9, then what the hell are our number 9s doing? So it's one of those like pull their finger out and they might actually get started, but I don't know what's going on in the bloody training room. No one bloody does.
No, but I think the fact that he continues to start Ziyech just shows that we can't really take anything that he does starting lineup wise as like the correct decision, because everything just seems so weird and strange, and he's just going for players it's seemingly at random. Even though we've got 2 brand new signings who have 8-year deals with the club, we keep saying it, but it has to be reiterated. And this is part of the Potter out conversation. Why? There are players who actually want to be here and will be here long term and have got high potential. Yeah. And you're not even giving them the game time to figure it out. Mudrik's...
we're in a rut already. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So why not play them, bruv? Just play Fofana. Play. Obviously now Silva's. We're getting. You know what? We're getting too distracted by this.
I know we're sidetracked, aren't we? I know.
But Jesus Christ, we're already in a rut. We're already losing. We're already angry. Just play our new players. Just play both Fofanas. Play Mudryk. Why isn't Mudryk starting? To get them all ingrained with each other, get them that game time. Even if they lose, we're going to bloody lose anyway.
We're going to lose anyway.
So just go for it. Fucking just throw out the new guys, get them all gelled and intertwined and friendly, I guess. And then next season start afresh, because that's literally what we're heading towards now. Yeah. So it just honestly didn't make sense. Let's get back to the game anyway.
Yes, definitely.
So initially, we talked about the Ziyech incident, Richarlison and Royale. The result from that incident, by the way, was 2 yellow cards for both teams. The second half, there was a good goal very, very, very early on. 47?
18 seconds into the
18 seconds.
18 seconds.
I thought it was 2 minutes. 18 seconds. So it was a bad clearance from Fernandez, if I remember. It was a bad clearance from Fernandez. Went straight to... Who scored? What's his name?
Skip. Oliver Skip.
Went straight to Skip, and he's had a pop. Don't blame him. Great shot. Not many keepers are going to save that. It's off the crossbar. Because did he save it and knock it onto the crossbar and then went in?
I think so.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was that.
I think so.
Very.
He definitely got a hand to it.
A little bit of luck, a little sprinkle of luck in there. But overall, you can't really take the goal away from them. And I just wish we could bloody score something like that so we could properly celebrate it without the VAR bloody creatures on us.
I mean, it was a comedy of errors. I think Kepa didn't clear the ball out. I think from the initial attack that kind of bounced that came to Fernandez, who then did a terrible clearance to Skip. I don't know if defending could have been better. There's always a case to say, somebody should have been in front of him, but they weren't, so whatever. I personally think that Kepa's just reverted to what he always does, and his major weakness is that anything that I think is what you'd call a long shot or a long range effort, because this is from the edge of the box, isn't it?
little bit
really
further out,
troubles
wasn't it?
him.
About 30 yards.
Yeah, I don't know if it was 30, but it was. I think it was a little bit.
It was
just
quite
outside.
long. It was quite a long shot.
But it wasn't that in the corner, and it was actually at a pretty good height for him to save.
Yeah.
And he, he has, what do they call them? Chocolate wrists. Like they just fold and melt whenever someone puts a bit of power. That isn't what people say, is it? That's stupid. I don't know what that means.
That's it. It's a thing now.
I guess so.
Chocolate wrists.
But it's just that is Kepa to me. That kind of sums up his Chelsea career. Like, he might look okay, but actually the fundamentals are bad. I've heard other goalkeepers, ex-goalkeepers, talk about it in football podcasts this week, and they say that he went with the wrong hand, and his positioning was a bit naff, and he should have basically saved it, because for a good goalkeeper, you're able to save that, and this is what he does. He lets in goals that actually don't look like they're his fault, but they are a lot more his fault than they look like they are. If that makes sense. So
no, I totally get it.
And to Oliver Skipp as well, by the way, who is the most bog standard guy on their whole team.
Where did that come from?
And that's his first goal for Spurs, by the way.
Why is it always against us, man?
I know. I know. The narrative gods are just always against us. Like, honestly, everyone's getting their first goals. Everyone's getting, their a goal against us who used to play for us. It's just a nightmare.
Yeah. I don't know where he pulled that from, but he pulled it out of some good place, and I don't think it'll happen again.
His magic hat. No.
But Jesus Christ, I think, just sort of reflecting on it, trying to remember it, I think Koulibaly's head just about touched it as well. Right, so that's another thing for Kepa to be like, oh, well, it was spinning. But anyway, as you said, he should have got it. The substitutions in second half was Ziyech was off for Madueke. RLC, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, for people who don't know, is off for Mason Mount, and that was further down the line, wasn't it? So it was just them two. That was about 60 minutes, wasn't it? That's 60,
I can't remember the exact
55, 60. I was happy Ziyech coming off for Madueke. It should have been the other way around, really. Should have been Madueke starting, and then maybe Ziyech coming on later. Ruben Loftus-Cheek for Mount, both terrible, so it's fine. Performance overall, as we said in the reaction, uninspired, unimaginative. I cannot remember a single chance at all, really.
No,
I can't remember a shot on goal.
Yeah,
a shot on goal.
So according to the stats, we had more possession. So we had 58 to their 41. We actually had 10 total shots. I don't remember any of them, so they must be terrible. Apparently, 2 of those were on target. Again, I don't remember. 5 were off target, 3 were blocked. But we actually didn't create a single clear-cut chance the whole game. So
absolutely lovely.
So you don't do that.
That's what you really want from your team. I mean, that is pinnacle football right there.
Yeah, I know. You love to see it. And it happens game after game after game. So we're having a fun time, aren't we?
We're just so good.
I know, for God's sake. But the subs didn't really do much, did they? Performance reminded me of the Southampton game. Everyone's uninspired, no imagination, literally just like there to be on the field and with no other ideas, really. Yeah,
basically that's what it was. We also had 80 minutes in, 2-0 up. They went. Harry Kane, the absolute pain in the arse. He scored, and then we. And sorry, go on.
I was going to say, why wasn't he marked at the back post? I don't know, but anyway,
well,
we move.
You never know, do
we
you?
We move.
Us marking people? No.
I know.
Don't think so. And then we went 2-0 down, and then we was like, you know what? Let's give them 10 minutes run. For no reason at all. For Felix to come off for Mudryk, which I thought should be the other way around, and maybe a little bit earlier. Sterling for Aubameyang, who I looked at Aubameyang. Aubameyang looked at me, and he was like, "Not today, bruv."
Not
and I was
today.
Like, I feel you. He could not be bothered. He looked like he just woke up. I honestly think he was sleeping on the bench. But it was just terrible man management. 10 minutes. What are they meant to do in 10 minutes? 10 minutes is where you
when you're 2-0 down as well.
2-0 down is where you substitute someone like a Fofana, like a Datre Fofana, or someone like that, like just someone who's new, young, like a Lewis Hall or something like that, just to get them that little bit more experience on the field. Not a bloody absolute well, it was a legend, not anymore, but a seasoned veteran in Aubameyang for 10 minutes, and Mudryk. Why is Mudryk coming on for 10 minutes? We just bought him for 88 million, bruv. I want him on. Where is he? Why is Felix not in the middle and him on the left?
Yeah.
And swap him out for Sterling later on. It honestly mind-boggled me. And he looked all right. He looks like he was. Again, he comes on, and that pace is blistering, and you can tell the fullbacks have problems with him all the bloody time.
Yeah, I mean, but, like they had a back three with it was Ben Davies, was Ben Davies a centre back? God, I don't remember, but he was definitely on. Ben Davies, Emerson Royale, who both are shite.
Royale,
and nothing to be worried about, and easily get toable. And so if it would have been a left wing, would have been the right wing back. So it would have been Royale. He would have had to deal with Royale, who was on a yellow, obviously from earlier on in the game, vulnerable. So you very easily could have used him with more time, Mudryk, to really give him something to think about.
You saw Royale getting a yellow card in the end of the first half. Why wasn't Mudryk brought on at
literally
maybe half time or even maybe 60 minutes?
Or 60, the normal, and then just say, look, go out Emerson Royale. I mean? He's dodgy anyway. He's got the bozo gene.
Yeah. You've got half an hour. Show us what you can do.
Yeah, literally. Every time you get that ball, I want you to go at Royale.
Yeah,
and give him something to work. Yeah. But no, of course not. They don't do that because that would be.
Of course not.
That would make too much sense, I guess.
So is that sort of the game wrapped up?
I think so. I mean, all in all, depressing game.
Our reaction was depressing.
Yeah, it was. I know. I watched back a bit of it, and you could see in my face and the way I was speaking. Yeah, it was so slow. It was like I'm so done. We're so done.
There's a limit, and we was up here.
I know. We've gone past that limit a long time ago. I think it is terrible. Yeah.
So that was that.
That was their first time they've ever beaten us, by the way, at their stadium.
And the first time they've scored as well.
And the first time they've scored.
They scored two.
Lovely. Potter breaking records. All of the best. All of the best records.
So moving on, we've got club news and sort of news around football in general. I did want to take this moment just to say, rest in peace to John Motson, aka Motti, for anyone who doesn't know his full name. Absolute legend. He was 50 years at the BBC. I believe he died when he was 77. Yeah. And he had over 200 England games covered, which is outrageous. And I think, especially for our generation, he was the absolute voice of football for us. Whenever you think back to, anything, any highlights or anything like that, you got Motti's voice in your head, playing over. So, rest in peace to him, absolute legend, and really bring the game to everyone. I feel.
No, I mean, as somebody who would like to get into a similar career, if I'm lucky, he is like the pinnacle, like the absolute top, the cream of the crop.
He's his voice,
his voice is so recognizable. His speech, his cadence, like as you said, you made a very good point. Like whenever I think of anything that England have done in the last 20, 30 years, is his voice I hear. Yeah. I was actually at the British Football Museum in Manchester years ago now for uni. And one of his most iconic clips is a Ronnie Radford goal in the 70s that Bradford scored against Leeds. I believe, unless I'm really wrong, it's an iconic goal and it is a banger for the balls that they used to have back then. It was like for 35 years out anyway, banger. And he was the one commentating over it. So it goes to show that his kind of like the longevity of his career, to be involved in so many iconic moments,
incredible, and involved with so many players as well.
He did like 29 FA Cup finals as well. Like he
absolutely ridiculous.
As you said, massive,
so
massive respect to him and everything he did, may he rest in peace.
Yeah. Graham Potter, Graham Potter. He's still here, unfortunately. He is. I mean, after the Southampton game, I was on the fence. I was very leaning towards get him out. And then Tottenham came around, and now I think he should be absolutely axed and just cut off from bloody everything football, because who the hell can he manage? But Todd Bowley and the group, or the guys, whoever, have gave him a 2-game cushion before making a formal decision, apparently, on his future. Apparently, the dressing room is absolutely gone because he's so easy with people. So after that Southampton game, it was reported that no one got criticised, no one got like a Mourinho or a bloody Ferguson treatment, where you get absolutely ridiculed after the game. Apparently nothing, absolutely nothing. He was just fine. He was like, oh, it is what it is. And players were shocked to see that. Now, I want to get your point of view on this, because I have a feeling this is very different to what we see from a majority, probably 99% of managers, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Everybody scolds their team for losing these easy games that are meant to be done. So do you think it's a good thing that it's so calm in the dressing room? Or do you think we need that little spice? We need that little kick up the arse?
I think so many people have got different ideas about what is the wrong and right thing to do in the management role. But I think in sports and in football and in the Premier League, something so flipping competitive, something you need to fight for every week. Just because we've had major success with more outlandish managers in the past, doesn't mean that is the key to success or winning. But his attitude is way too relaxed. And if that is the case, I think it's just embarrassing, really, because, this is a group of young players, some of which have won major trophies, some of which have never won anything. Others have got major reputations internationally and in Europe, who have now come and are playing for us, and their careers are on the line, there's big moves. And these guys are massively, they are... the pressure's on for them as well to be good. And imagine losing games like these in this way against these types of teams.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking.
Just to... And then for the guy to be like, okay, well, these things happen, it's a shame. I mean, the other day in his pre-match for Spurs, he was going on about how he was watching the Amazon documentary, All or Nothing, the Arsenal one, and saying isn't it, look at Mikel. He was doing really bad 2 years ago, and they were going to get rid of him, and they didn't, and now look where they're at. It's like, are you mad, bro? Is that how? That's the most embarrassing thing I've ever heard. A grown man who gets paid over £10 million a year, who's supposed to be manager of one of the best clubs in the world, and he's going on about watching shitty Amazon documentaries about fucking the arse. And then bloody trying to compare their situations, which, by the way, I've already debunked that whole argument, because as I said, Mikel Arteta improved Arsenal straight away, statistically, and in the eye test, and had to get rid of a lot of dead wood. He had a shit squad with crap players, mostly, and it took time to get rid of them. And now that he has, and he's built a squad in his image, they're flying. Now, you can't say the same thing for Potter, because all he's done is come in and made us markedly worse with a better squad. So it's just everything about him. I think... I can't, it's like the Kepa situation for me. I don't trust Kepa now. He had that terrible season. And I don't care how well he played in some games and how well he played in other games. To me, he's always going to be dodgy. I can't ever trust him. He's burnt that bridge. And that's the same thing for me with Potter now. Results may go up, but I'm going to be waiting for the results to go down and go bad again, like they did for him at Brighton, where they'd have a few good games against big opposition, and then he'd go on like a flipping 3-month losing streak. But no one cares, because there's no pressure. Brighton. Well, there's not as much pressure at Brighton. I think at one point he even said to them you should get your priorities straight, when Brighton fans were criticising. I think get this right. There was one point in his Brighton career where their last 3 home wins were in 2019, 2020, and 2021.
Jesus.
That's how spread out they were. So they had moments of terrible, terrible form and performances. And the media love him because he's English and he's nice, and he managed to get away with it. But any other manager would get slated. But I think people want him to do well so much that they just ignored.
And, you saying that about the stats and everything, and we said it last week. I mean, Todd and the gang have gone, oh, yeah, that's the bloke for Chelsea. And it's just like, are you deluded? Where's Specsavers when you need them? Because them stats are free. You don't have to pay for them. You can just Google Graham Potter and it'll come up 31.2 bloody % win rate. It's just why? Why are you doing it? Now, I must say, I must bring this up because it is an important topic. But as much as everybody hates Potter, it is just football, and there is reports that he has been receiving death threats.
Well, he said it, didn't he? He said it in his press conference.
Yeah. I don't know why I said reports. He's been receiving death threats towards him and his family during this bad period of form. Obviously, we do not condone this at all. And I mean, we don't have many listeners at the moment, but if you are one of those people that are listening, please just turn us off and just go away, because you're not wanted. You're not wanted at this club, and you're probably not wanted at any other club for that matter of fact. I think it's just childish to put death threats on the table. I mean, there is much more to life than football, even though we are football crazy. But it's just shocking from the fans. Like, majority of us isn't, like 99.9% of us aren't like that. I mean, yes, we can hate. Yes, we will speak out. We'll give our opinion on that. But I'm not going to go round to his house. You know what I mean? I'm not going to send a letter being like, "Oh, you're all going to die." Why? Yeah. Like, it makes no sense. So if you are one of those people, just fuck off. That's it.
Basically,
because you're a knobhead. So that's basically that. We'll leave that at that. Potter, it's not getting any better. We'll see what Leeds brings. He's got 2 home games. Got Borussia Dortmund. Leeds and then Borussia Dortmund. 2 home games, a little cushion to see what he can do. If he can't do nothing, I really, really want him to go. That brings me on to replacements for Potter. Now, there's been talks about Thomas Frank. Opinions?
Allow it. I mean,
honestly, allow it.
To me, you're replacing shit with a slightly better polished shit. I mean, which is actually quite cheeky of me to say, because
I know it's true.
Both of the clubs that Potter and Frank have managed or are managing are above us in the league. So actually, it's a bit cheeky of me to say that. But I actually do think it'd be a pretty similar situation with Thomas Frank. He's not an elite manager. He's never won anything major. He has no cachet in the game, apart from some respect from some Premier League fans and pundits, because he manages, and he does do well in big games against big clubs. He gets Brentford fighting and up for a big game, and good for him. But Brighton did exactly the same thing, and look where we are now. So to me, it would be a like for like replacement, and
same. I thought exactly the same, and I think it'll be exactly the same as Brighton. You look at a lower team; they're doing well, but you bring these managers to a good team, and they do shit, and it's even worse because you're meant to be top 4 and the 10th. So exactly. I don't think it'll change anything. Honestly, I don't like the bloke anyway. To be honest with you, I mean, obviously, I got to respect him. He's a manager of football, but. I don't get that vibe. He's not got that vibe that I want.
What this Potter experience has shown us is that, you need to have the minerals. I'm sorry to say it.
Oh yeah.
And there are a class of manager who have that, whether through circumstance or just being that skilled. Like Pep, he got the Barcelona job because he was like the Barcelona B coach, and then they fired Rijkaard and they got Pep in, and obviously he had Messi, the best player ever, in his squad, but that gave him the opportunity to become the best. But there are managers out there who have had great success and are semi-available. And in fact, one I saw today in a piece talked about Luis Enrique, the ex-Spain manager who left the job, I believe, after they got knocked out by Morocco. So his kind of very recent track record is a bit iffy, but I think it's easy to forget that he did produce probably the most exciting Barcelona team of the last 20 years, and that is including Pep's, because although Pep's were amazing and they dominated, they weren't as exciting as the one that Luis Enrique, I believe it was the 15-16 season, Neymar, Messi, Suarez, I think all of them scored over like 40 goals in one season.
Jesus
each.
Christ.
And they broke goal scoring records. They were unbelievable, and he actually won the triple with them as well. So okay, yeah, maybe kind of his post Barcelona career hasn't been as glittering, but he, encouragingly, he's won stuff, and he's managed major players and managed to get a tune out of them and make them work and exciting, and they won things. And I'm a Chelsea fan.
I'd rather him.
I want people. I've realised this now. Fuck your process. I want people who have got someone about them who are renowned and well known, and they've done good jobs elsewhere. Yeah, that is, if you're going to do a process, I want someone like that. Yeah, not one of these kind of mid-table teams that beat some of the big teams every now and again, and that's enough for them to kind of ride off into the sunset.
No, I would much rather him than Thomas Frank.
100%. Yeah,
like as you said, big names. We've got a lot of big names, a lot of big egos now because these names have got even bigger. Not saying that their egos are bad, but they've got to be controlled. And I don't think Potter's doing that at all. He's so passive. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. But then should we just get Lampard back and call it a day?
God, no. Sorry. I love Lamps, innit? I love my boy Lamps. What a player, Probably my favourite Chelsea player. Or second, anyway, behind Drogba. But, I wouldn't do that. He couldn't cut mustard. What about Mourinho? Talking of ex-Chelsea.
No, I couldn't do it again.
What about Mourinho, John Terry partnership?
I know.
I've seen that online.
It'd be all right.
It'd be quite funny, wouldn't it?
But I think Mourinho's had his day.
He's toxic, isn't he?
And I was just going to say, at the end of the last spell, it got very, very toxic. Yeah. And it's like, if you got rid of a toxic ex, why would you get her back? So
that is true. They do say you should never go back.
Exactly, and I don't think it's right. And what's weird is that we're talking about Mourinho and that. And with who was the woman medic that he got rid of?
Eva Carneiro.
Right, and there's reports of her coming back.
Yeah, that's funny. We need a better medical team because we get so many injuries.
Oh, just don't get me started on that. But we've got her potentially coming back, apparently, like on the grapevine. But then we've also got talks of Mourinho, and that's not going to work.
That's not going to work. No, that's all.
He literally got rid of her.
That's like when he binned off Juan Mata to United, and then he ends up bloody managing United the next year. It must have been awkward him coming into the changing room like, "Oh, hello, Juan, nice to see you again, mate. You're not going to play for the next 5 years."
Exactly. So I don't think it's a good idea. Okay, so moving on, that's the sort of managers-ish. I mean, there's not many other. I don't want Zizou or anything like that. There's no one that I really want at all, to be honest. But going on, we got Todd investing. Well, I'll say Todd. Someone investing. Multi-million £1 upgrade into Cobham facilities, including a luxury chill-out area, a gym, a pool, and so on. Now, I did write in the notes I hope the chill-out area isn't used this season because we need that maximum effort to go in. Obviously, it's not going to be just used by the first team, but I'm just hoping no one bloody chills out too much in there,
I mean, it's always good, isn't it? Like, it shows a commitment to actually bettering the whole club and not just some players. And this shows a commitment to the whole kind of playing and working staff at Cobham. So it's not like a bad thing. I don't know. I think it's already quite nice there.
Yeah, it is. But compared to others.
I can't imagine it'd be crazy expensive just to kind of give it an upgrade and a lift because it was
surprised.
It was true. It was I think built or upgraded a fair few years ago now. I mean, it could probably use it, but But as you said,
I think obviously gym, just be more gym equipment. I'm guessing because the gym equipment in there looks all right.
Yeah.
I don't really see why we need a chill out area. Honestly, that's called a canteen, isn't it? So I'm not too sure on that one. So I don't know why we need a chill out area. To be honest, But a pool wouldn't be too bad. I mean, have we already got a pool? I don't know if
We must do. I mean, how
do we?
iconic were those pictures from the 2018 World Cup with Bukayo
Yeah.
Saka and Harry Maguire
Well, that's
in the
in
pool
England, though, isn't
with
it?
their unicorn? Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
let's have that at our club as well. We need it for the
Yeah. Oh,
content.
yeah. I'd love a pool.
We need it for
Yeah.
the viral. I want to see
don't...
Kovacic in his pants again, like he did. Remember that when he
Whoa.
fucking?
Okay.
You remember that when he whipped his shirt and his shorts off? God, bro, the guy had
It
the
was just
body of a
swinging
Greek god.
everywhere.
I need it
Absolute
again.
swinging everywhere. What's going on?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
What I do want to just talk about is we've already talked about it. You know, Silver being out for 6 weeks or more.
Yeah.
I just want to say, is that a silver lining for Wesley Fofana to come in and do this sort of bonding friendship with Badia Shil? Obviously, Koulibaly will be thrown in somewhere because it's Potter.
Yeah.
But Badia Shil and Fofana, I think this might be a little bit of a silver lining. Even though I love Silver, I think it might be just that little bit extra to give them a head start on getting that bond, because
Yeah.
they're both young, they're both bloody sick ballers, and I would love them to stick around and be that team, that unit at the back.
Yeah, both young, both French, both kind of were in and around the France team. Probably not now. Pardon me. And you could imagine quite a good little partnership there. Like, it could be the French version of Terry and Cahill. You know, you got like, I think that and they actually, I think they complement each other quite well with their techniques. You know, the way that they play.
Oh, definitely.
Fofana's obviously a bit shorter, but a bit quicker and more dynamic, and he's a very good tackler. You know, very good reactive.
Yeah.
Badia Shil looks generally more calm and a bit more composed, but I hopefully they can kind of build a nice bond.
I just wanted to bring that up. Like, you know, we take everything with a sort of like a pinch of salt. You've got to think of the positives around what's happening as well. It's not all just negative. So if we can get that partnership on the cards, get it going before the new season, and Silver being out for 6 weeks can encourage that a lot more. If Koulibaly isn't utilised, even if he is, I mean, you can still sub him out. You know, so it's not too bad. So I think it'll be a good thing. Talking about players, we need a number 9. There is talks of Tammy Abraham with his buyout clause coming up, like for this summer. Now the buyout clause is 18 million euros. Do we need him? No. He scored 6 goals this season, I believe.
Yeah, he had a good start to last season.
He
had a good start for his Roma career last season. I think he scored over 20 goals, which is pretty good returns for your first year in a new league, learning a new language and a new culture. But I was happy to get the amount of money we got for Tammy when he originally left.
Yeah,
he is a good poacher and a good scorer, and I think if he was maybe less ambitious, I would have liked to have kept him in the squad. Remember like Demba Ba, good player, but kind of knew that he was never going to be the number 1, but he was okay with it, and he had really good moments for us. I would have liked to have maybe Tammy as the same thing, but like any young player, deserves an opportunity to be the number 1 guy at a club.
Oh, of course.
I personally don't think, based on what I saw of him for those couple years he was playing with us, I don't think he really had what it took to be like an elite centre forward. I mean, he's still only 25, 26? He's still got time to grow into that. I mean, Lewandowski, Ibrahimovic, Karim Benzema all seem to have hit their goal scoring peaks after their 30. So it's still he could still be an all-time great.
A lot of time.
But I was never really convinced.
80 million right now.
That's way too expensive.
Way too expensive. I don't think we need him.
No.
But then, that being said, what do we do with Lukaku? Because he's still on our books. Apparently, Inter don't want him anymore.
Well, again, he's had a pretty poor season. He's had injury and fitness issues. Apparently, he's like 10 kilograms overweight or something, according to one of their coaches.
That's a lot.
I know. I saw that like a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if that's true or not, but but Lukaku is a very difficult situation. I really don't know. All I do know is we're going to have to take a massive loss on him and just eat it and just take on the chin. Like, if we can shift him for like 30 million, just do it. I know, and I know that's mental and that's a massive loss of money, but I'd hope that Bowley, Egbali, Clear Lake, the investors see it as this purchase wasn't made under us. This was made under the previous regime. It's not our fault.
Yeah.
They don't have to. They don't have to hold on for pride's
No,
sake. They can.
I do agree. Do you see him actually in the squad at all?
I can't see him. No,
which
is so weird, isn't it? Because he's got great pedigree as a scorer.
Yeah.
And in theory, he might actually work way better now than he did when he was originally signed, right? Yeah. But again, with
it's that trust, man.
Yeah, it's just that trust. I think this episode
is the same as bloody what's his face, Kepa. It's the trust,
exactly.
Man.
It's the trust. Yeah, exactly. It. That's what this episode's all about, man. This is the overarching theme. It's trust. I don't have trust in him to really want to come back and be that guy because he doesn't want to be at Chelsea. He made it clear while he was at our club after a record signing. Absolute so if he's going to do that then, what's he going to be like when he comes back? I'm very interested to see how it's going to play out in the summer, but I can't imagine he's going to come back in and change our fortunes.
I'll give you this sort of right. I think Todd's going to be like, we paid way too much for him, even though it wasn't him that paid it. But he's going to be like, let's see what he's like under this new regime, under this new management. Everybody, as we said, everybody's changed. There's new coaches bloody everywhere. Yeah. Everybody's different. Everyone's different except for some of the players. That's it.
True.
So I think maybe he'll get along with Potter more. Maybe he'll play into that play style because obviously Thomas Tuchel wanted him to play back to goal. And it's a very more like physical league than what he was used to. He did have okay moments, but he was just lazy, honestly. Yeah. I wonder if Potter will play him better. I wonder if he'll even be included, or will we just loan him out to somewhere for the odd few million for a season or something like that?
Maybe. So, I think that's what it's going to have to be. Yeah. I think that's what it's going to have to be. Just literally getting as much money back from the deal as we can, and hoping that we can just that's it really.
Fingers crossed with that one. Next news story: the boy, the absolute legend, N'Golo Kante.
Oh,
he has signed a contract extension until 2026. Hey, there he is. Until 2026, with an option to further his year until 2027. Yeah. So finally, some good news in amongst all the crap. So absolutely, I'm ecstatic with that. If he can play at least 20 games a season, I'll be chuffed, honestly. If he can stay fit, just play him like every other game. Not every game, you know what I mean? Like just every other game, I'll be so content with that because him and Fernandes, I can't wait to see it. Honestly,
would be an epic combo.
Wait to see it.
I love N'Golo. I've said that before. He's my favorite player in the squad for now, and he's right up there with one like my favorite players of all time. For the Chelsea, I will definitely get a shirt of his at some point. I just need to get my wallet out and actually spend some of the money in it, which isn't that much. But no, I'm really, truly, genuinely happy with this news. I think there's clearly been a big emphasis on having him recover to a point where he is back close to his best, hopefully, and that's why they've been so patient. With this injury and his recovery.
Because I feel like we rushed him back, didn't we?
Too many times, yeah. I mean, he was playing in that Europa League final in 2019 with a terrible injury. And Sarri, and I'm sure N'Golo himself said, I'll do it, I'll play, I want to win, I want to play, I want to win.
He loves football, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And you imagine most players would be like that. But anyway, so he played through that in final with a terrible injury. And that clearly made it worse. And he hasn't really been right since. Yeah. But then again, every time he's come back from an injury for, let's say, a couple of months, they've just chucked him straight back in.
Exactly.
And it's been a recurring thing. So this time, he's been out of the squad for what, 4 or 5 months, 6 months?
More
ages. Ages. So hopefully, this has been one of the first times in his career where he's had a proper rest because he was getting rinsed out by France at the same time as well.
Yeah.
He'd get in every squad and played in every game, even if he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
So hopefully this has been a really good recharging situation for him. He's only, 31?
Yeah.
And I would take 31-year-old N'Golo Kante at 80%. Because that would still make him
I'll take
probably
that
our best
over
midfielder.
many players.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and still probably better than most midfielders in the league. So I'm really buzzing about this news. It shows me that they are, although I have many criticisms of the current ownership group, that this sounds like a very sound sporting decision. And I'm hoping that the new kind of the Christopher Vivels, the Paul Winstanleys, who are kind of heading up our footballing operation.
Yeah,
it sounds as if they've got their head screwed on, and in the long term, I think it's going to be a really good situation.
I'm hoping so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very much hoping so. And as I said, if he just gets sprinkled in without injury,
literally, there's no need to force him, is there, for the rest of the season?
Every other game, just like I think, don't play him until next season because there's no point now. It's sort of done.
True.
I mean, what's he going to do? Let's be honest.
Bring him on for the last 10 minutes in the last game of the season.
Just to get our little stat in there. Yeah.
Literally.
Just get him in there, and I think start him fresh next season. And I think just play him. Maybe even just play him in the big games against the big teams. I don't know how to sprinkle him in, or just put like every other game instead of every game.
Sure.
or even every game, but maybe one starting, then off at 60 minutes, and then one on at 60 minutes, sort of thing. Like just
like Sarri. Sarri used to do that every game.
Like that little sporadic thing, because otherwise it's just he's gonna get injured again in the same place, and it's just gonna be all this over and over again. So there's no point. And I think I think we're doing the right thing for once, and actually resting him up. As for Laqueta and Aubameyang, allowed to leave this summer apparently.
Right, let them go.
Yep, same. Same.
Get their wages off the books.
You know what? Let's put some respect on Aspie's name.
Good lad.
I would care less. I actually love the geezer, but he's run his course at Chelsea. He's won everything. I think he should have left after we won the Champions League.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it should have just been his legacy cemented there, and then gone on to Barcelona. Wanted him. I think he should have just gone to Barcelona and do whatever he's going to do there to see out the rest of his career. But I think him staying at Chelsea has sort of put a dampener on it.
A bit.
And it's sort of like...
But in a sad way where you realise he's just not up to it anymore.
No.
I still love him.
Especially after that season. So that season he was on it. And I think he was on it because he had to be on it. And then we got some more defenders in and stuff like that. Reece James coming up the bloody ranks. And then all of a sudden he's on the back burner. So now he's sort of just chilling out a little bit more. He's not as fast as these young guns, and we need someone fast. We need Reece James in the back. So I think Aspie and Uber should leave. I haven't got no objections to that, and it would be a very sad day when Aspie does leave. But we move on, and
that's football, man. That's football, isn't it?
And he was a legend for the club,
for sure.
Sorry, talking about players. Should we go over Osimhen just quickly?
I mean, I've heard other podcasts talk about him this week for different clubs. And everyone's obviously clearly very interested in him.
Everyone.
He's been linked to everyone, and there's good reason for it. He's having a breakout season. He's a great player. Some of his goal clips and highlights of this season, and Napoli in general, by the way, him and Kvaratskhelia have an amazing partnership, and some of the goals they're banging in together is amazing.
Absolute baller.
But I'm just scared of big money striker signings, because the curse of the number 9, man, it lives on strong.
Honestly, but you know what?
I'm nervous about that.
Saying that, I am nervous as well. I am nervous, but ever since 2019, that's when he started really getting on the radar for me. And
where was he? Was it Lille before, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Yeah,
Lille. Yeah,
and he really got on the radar for me. And I saw him as a number 9 for Chelsea. Like he's just got that presence. He's got that physicality to him, and I think he's aggressive as well. I don't think he's like a passive player, and I think he'd do very well. I'm sorry, but I think he really would.
Well, you're more of an optimist than me, clearly.
I am an optimist. I'm glass half full most of the time.
Nice.
but for Osimhen, I don't know. He's been on my radar for ages, and I've said this way back in the day, years ago, about 4 years ago, I literally said, probably to you or one of my mates or whatever, and I said, Osimhen, I would love to see him at Chelsea. And now he's having this breakout season, and I think it would have even if we got him back then, I think he would have still had this great season along the line. And I don't know, I just think he fits the mould for a Chelsea player, if that makes sense.
And
I just got that vibe. I don't know, man.
We got vibes. He just feels right. No, fair enough.
He feels all right, but he's going to be 120, 130, 150
easily.
Million, so
Aurelio De Laurentiis at Napoli is one of those kind of like well-known figures in the football game, especially when it comes to transfers. And this mother effer does not take any lowball offers. He will get what he wants, and he normally does. Napoli produce these great players, and then they sell them on for massive profit. I mean, they sold Gonzalo Higuain to Juve for like 70 mil, and we saw what he was like when he came to Chelsea. I was stinking the gaff out. It's going to be an exceedingly expensive deal. And if the talks about us potentially trying to sign Felix on a permanent are true, there's no way we'd be able to make both of those work. No, regardless how mad our transfer activity has been so far, it's not going to be that mad again this summer. I don't think.
Because all the rules are changing as well. So
yeah, exactly.
We've got that to deal with. Sterling's agents have reiterated his long-term commitment to the club.
Yeah, I saw that today. I think obviously with everything going on, everyone's PR is kind of running in overdrive. Yeah. And it's clearly it's encouraging. I mean, he's only been here for a year. He's on a massive contract. Obviously, he's going to say, "I don't want to go anywhere,"
because
he's not going to get this money anywhere else. So he may as well ride out his career. He's from West London.
Yeah, I think he gets along with a lot of the boys.
Yeah, and he would do. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. A lot of the England lads are there in the camp, so he probably has a good relationship with those. But it's a little, fair enough. Good. I like him. I think he's a good player. I think he could do really good things for us, but. We're in a shit spot, so we need ballers.
We need ballers around them so they can all ball.
He is a great added piece to a squad of ballers, definitely. Yeah,
I think he's brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and I think he's really coming into his own as well throughout the years. I mean, Man City has a lot of big names, and I think maybe at Chelsea he can be like the standout star. Obviously, this year is his first year; he's just settling in. We've got an absolutely shambolic season going on with players around us as well. So you never know. I'm hoping that he does well next season and just keeps up because obviously he's got to compete with Mudryk now. But I think that's a nice rivalry. And I think even substitution-wise, I think if like Sterling coming off for Mudryk or vice versa or whatever, or even if it's in the mid, even if you had Mudryk with Sterling up front or something like that, I think it would be a great partnership and a like for like, substitution.
Yeah. Also, some of Sterling's best games this season have been at right wing, so there's nothing to say they couldn't start in the same starting lineup. Yeah. Obviously, we have Madueke, but I think Madueke still seems quite raw, if you ask me. And I think a Sterling on the right and a Mudryk on the left, I think
could be spicy.
It could be very spicy indeed.
Yeah. There's interest in Kovacic from Man City. Apparently, in our last game against Man City, he was seen talking to Pep.
Pep did that with Nathan Redmond in a Southampton game years ago. That was quite funny, wasn't it, when he did that?
But we're not really playing him. I mean, we've started to a little bit.
Let him go.
I think he's run his course again at Chelsea. I think he was very good for us in certain aspects. But I think again, just let him go because I think he's in that mindset of the old regime still, and I think you can tell that with a lot of players, like this switch up of everything. Everybody's got to get used to it. Kova's good, but he's not incredible. He's obviously a good baller, but he's not incredible. And Alvarez at Man City, again, he's a World Cup winner with Fernandez. So I think if they do want Kovacic, all right, we'll give him whatever for free, and we want Alvarez, and we'll give you a little bit of money on top or something like that. I would absolutely love that, to get Alvarez back in, to get him back with Fernandes, have that link up in Chelsea. You saw what they done at the World Cup.
Yeah.
So why not? Alvarez isn't even getting played, is he?
No. And he had an illness apparently, so he couldn't play against Spurs. I think that's bullshit. I think he just can't be asked. Personally, no. Kovacic is to me the Kepa of the midfielder. Like he
bold
looks
statements.
He has, he looks okay in moments, and he has had good moments. He scored some. He scored one great goal against Liverpool. That volley last season was amazing.
It was incredible.
A career one goaleth does not maketh. And I think he looks very nice visually. Aesthetically, he looks great. He dribbles past people really nicely, and everyone loves to see that. It reminds us of Hazard, probably. But
when you said that, I thought you was on about him in his pants.
Yeah, well, that as well. But he doesn't cut the mustard for me on so many occasions. And he's never actually, when I think about it, he's been there for nearly, 5 years?
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever really kicked on. He's never improved. I think he had a moment last season where he had some nice through balls to Lukaku.
Yeah.
I remember one against Aston Villa was a great pass, which we were all crying out for him to do more of. Yeah. But I don't think he's ever really reached his potential.
He was just at that standard, wasn't he?
He was just all right, yeah. But I think that I think you're right. I think he's disillusioned with where the club is. He's had loads of managers he's had to work under. Yeah. He's probably sick and tired of all of the changing, and he might just want a more settled situation somewhere else where he can just kind of play out the rest of his days.
Yeah, where the only thing that's wrong is financial fair play. So
true. Yeah, but also and with Alvarez in mind. I was watching a Nini FC video for any of you Chelsea fans. I'm sure you know him on YouTube, and he was talking about this, about how apparently Alvarez, Man City are trying to sign him up to a higher salary, and obviously he has barely played this season. I think he's with Haaland there. You're always going to choose Haaland over him, obviously,
yeah.
And they've only started 4 times together in the league this season, so Alvarez is always going to be second pick, second option.
Yeah.
And maybe he thinks, I'm sure he would think, as you said, he's a World Cup winner. He's got, people rate him. He looks like a pretty good player. I haven't seen enough of him to really make a true judgment. I've seen bits of him, really. And yeah, if there is a way that trade kind of makes sense for both clubs, I would greenlight it for sure. But it does feel a bit football managery, and these trade offers very rarely actually ever happen. The last one I can think of was the Alexis Sanchez to United and Mkhitaryan to Arsenal, and that was years ago. It just doesn't really happen very often, especially not between two major rivals, as we are. So I would greenlight it, but
yeah, same. I would absolutely love it. The last thing on our news today is the new FAB.
The fan advisory board.
That's the fan advisory board, which is apparently to fulfill a promise for fan engagement.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
So one of the things the Clear Lake group said when they took over, or part of their bid was that they would like to institute a board of fan, democratically voted for members from the fan group to sit amongst our executives and chat about the club and maintain its prosperity and success in the long term. If it were to actually go through, it would be the only kind in the Premier League. Yeah. There's no other club that would even thinking about doing this.
Yeah.
Which would be amazing. It would be a lot closer. It'd be closer to the Bundesliga method, which is amazing. They have a rule which is I believe it's the 50+1 rule. Basically, every club in Germany is owned by their fans.
Oh, right.
No private investor can have over 49% of the shares. So they can never be a majority owner of a club. Right. And that's including at Bayern. So that is a fantastic model because it has kept a lot of those clubs, safe from... We've seen so many clubs like Southend are close to being shut down. Bury, I think, have gone. Macclesfield are in big trouble. All of these really, not the most glamorous clubs, but clubs that mean a lot to their local communities that have been around for 100, some of them nearly 100 years or 100 years. They get lost. But to have fans on the board in terms of the general health of a club, I think would be a fantastic thing. I did see a statement from the Chelsea supporters group earlier who said that they welcome this situation. They did say that the actual terms and conditions that were put out by the club in relation to this aren't as far as they would like it to be, aren't as progressive as they would like it to be.
Yeah.
But they said that we are willing to talk to the club and kind of work out what can happen. But a very positive step in the right direction.
So you got to take it's going to be ups and downs until they finalise, the fine print of everything. They don't want to give too much control over. They don't want to have this sort of overarching theme of fans can get away with saying whatever on the board. Do you think this is just to please us? Do you think this is just we've made a fan board, so you got your little voice now, but do you actually matter?
Yeah, there's definitely a risk of that, 100%. I can definitely see it as you're right, it appeases the fan. It makes you feel like you have more control than you do.
It's basically a cop out.
In a way, it is a bit like, look, we're letting you have your voice in the boardroom. Well, it's going to be one person in the boardroom from a fan group, from a supporters trust, the Chelsea Supporters Trust. But it's hard, isn't it? It's progress in the right direction.
It's progress in the right direction.
A more fairly run and more safely run club. But you are right. Really, we'd have to see it in practice because right now it's all theoretical. And you're right. They could just get them on board and then never listen to anything they say and they're pointless anyway.
Exactly.
And it's just there for show, which wouldn't surprise me. No. So, good idea, but we'll see. We have to be patient.
We'll see what happens, eh? So, women's. Let's move on to the women's. We beat Arsenal women's 2-0. Sophie Ingle and Sam Kerr scored. Berger, who was in goal, making absolutely fantastic saves. A nice little double save as well. Love all that, absolute class keeper. Just wish Kepa was like that. But she got player of the match, so, props to her. Yeah. Lauren James doing an absolute... dominating job as usual. She's drifting off the right, getting that central pass off for Sophie. Sophie scored a cracker off the post. No keeper in the world saving that. And then moving on to Sam Kerr doing her thing. Come on, it's Sam Kerr.
GOAT!
That's why she's the GOAT!
That's why she's the GOAT!
Doing her thing. She's slotting another one home. It was a great run off of a position. Literally just played off the defender. The defender had no bloody clue what was going on.
Yeah.
Different planet altogether. Sam Kerr in, around, not even offside. Absolute cracker of a goal with ease. There was a vote on goal of the month through all of the Chelsea goals. The Felix can do one. I think looking at all the goals, I think Lauren James's goal against Tottenham
I've seen that. Yeah,
absolutely class. Banger. And a lovely little run from her as well. Messi-esque, that's what it was, right? Messi-esque, literally around 3 or 4 players. Nice little tidy finish, and left the defence literally with their bloody jaws on the floor, like what's just happened. Women's again doing absolute bits. And to mention, Sam Kerr is named in the FIFA 22 Women's 11, so that's
deservedly
a great achievement.
Deservedly so.
I have a feeling Berger might have been as well, but I'm not too sure on that one. But she deserves it as well. But yeah, Sam Kerr doing absolute bits as usual, and the women,
rumbling
so much better, much better than the bloody men.
They're doing really well.
They just look organised, man. I swear to God.
I know. Emma Hayes is a proper coach as well. All of the sound bites and all of the video I see of her, she is minerals.
She is. She is proper minerals. She's the epitome of a class manager.
Yeah, definitely. She has it
in
space.
And I think our team's just amazing at the moment. And Sam Kerr, please don't go anywhere.
I know, and we're so good, and that's without Pernilla Harder's injured, who's actually our record signing for the women's, obviously, and Fran Kirby as well, who's been with us for years.
Yeah.
And has been great for years. Is also injured. So the fact that Sam Kerr is like doing her thing week after week, getting played because she has to play. Just shows her resilience and her athletic ability to carry on.
Yeah.
And keep banging in goals. No, yeah. I mean, the women are doing really well. I think that they knocked Arsenal. That was out of the FA Cup as well.
It was.
And I think they've got them again in the Conti Cup final. I think it's next weekend, maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's next weekend. So I'm expecting a W. Because Arsenal aren't playing very well this season, apparently.
Easy W.
But we shall see. The next time we record after the game, we shall see.
Yeah. So well done to the women. Keep it up. We'd love to see it. Absolutely love to see it. Just, ballers playing ball. That's what it is. Man. Ballers playing ball. So, what's going on with the youth?
With the youth? Our youth? Oof. So, yeah, the game that happened since we last recorded, Chelsea development squad beat the Arsenal under-21s. That was 1-0 win. Not the most spectacular game.
Wins
Leo Castledine, true. Leo Castledine scored off the bench in the 86th minute to secure a tight win. He'd only been on for 3 minutes before doing that. So a clutch play there. Fantastic. Good-looking lad. Great Barnet, honestly. Look at
Barnet.
Look it up, honestly. Top Barnet. Amari Hutchinson started in that game as well. By the way, against his former club. He left Arsenal to come to us in the summer. I'm guessing we promised him more first-team minutes. It turns out that hasn't really happened for him. But hey, he's only 18. He's got time.
He's got time.
So this result leaves our development squad in second in their under-21 PL2 league.
Good.
They're still 2 points behind Man City, but they have played a game more than Man City. So Man City are in a strong position. Obviously, if they win their game in hand, they'll be 5 points ahead. It's a bit like what's going on in the top of the Premier League now. So, yes, good result.
Overall, outstanding results from the women's and
from the rest of the club. Yeah, for sure.
Just hope that the bloody first team look back and see, watch some of the bloody highlights and take some inspiration from it.
Yeah, for sure.
And be like, well, why aren't we pulling our weight? When everybody else is doing so fantastically well. The division, the development squad is second in their division, but second is second, mate. We're 10th. Come on, So, that's the youth and the women's doing great, as we said. Moving on to Rival Watch.
Nice.
Oh yes, Rival Watch.
Yeah.
Now, what's going on, Bo? Let's tune into Bo over here. We've got Rival Watch in the helicopter above. How's it going?
It's going all right. They're doing better than we are.
Oh shit!
The main one to say, obviously, over the weekend, on the same day that we lost to Spurs, Man United won the Carabao Cup against Newcastle 2-0. The game wasn't a classic by any means, but Man United and Ten Hag, their best players are just making clutch plays.
Yeah,
Casemiro, probably the signing of the season.
Yeah, pulling it out from somewhere.
Scored a great goal and played well. So Man United are much rejuvenated and looking back to their kind of, their old ways, which is a shame. Newcastle did play quite well in the game, but just didn't quite have enough.
For them to get to a cup final.
True. And apparently they took down 100,000 fans. Newcastle fans down to London. So massively well supported. It's a proper day out. It's their first final in years.
I love Newcastle fans as well. I don't know why, but they just seem so genuine and wholehearted with the club, because a lot of these clubs nowadays it's a lot of supporters from outside the UK, and not many people go into the games from the UK sort of thing. Sure. But I think Newcastle still has that UK grit.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't. I'm sure it won't be long. Now that they've got the Saudi owners, shitloads of money, they'll be signing lots of very exciting players, no doubt, and their brand will grow. But they are. Yeah. They definitely. It always felt weird when they weren't in the Premier League. When they were getting relegated.
Oh yeah.
About 10 or so years ago, because they're such an iconic club, and that kit. And the stadium and the that part of
history,
England,
isn't it?
Yeah, they're just an iconic club. So it's a shame that they're now good and will be good probably for the foreseeable. It's just another team to worry about.
Another team to worry about. That's why they're on rival watch. But
exactly, but that also makes the Premier League more fun.
It's a
better
lot
teams
more fun.
make for better
I love
games.
it. And props to them. Props to them doing well this season. We love to see it. And well done for getting to the final of the Carabao Cup.
Just couldn't quite rise.
A shame it was against Man United when Man United are actually doing good for once.
I know. I know.
Very unlucky in the past few years where they've been absolutely dog shit. But now Ronaldo's gone. They've upped their game, and everything's sort of settled down. Ten Hag's come in and went let's do the bloody every press.
Let's start an actual process, is what he said. Yeah. And everyone's like, all right, we like a process when we actually are winning games and playing good football.
Yeah. I wonder what club needs that. So Man United, talking about Man United and Crystal Palace, they had a game at Old Trafford during February. Can't remember what weekend it was.
No.
But there was a massive sort of scuffle between all the players, and they have both clubs have been fined a massive £55,000. Oh, Jesus!
Drop in the ocean.
That's a drop in the ocean and a nice little chip off of their tax bill. That's what that is.
Yeah.
So that's a 55k fine for failing to control players, which I think should be much more. But it is what it is. The FA get a little bit of dosh. Yeah. That's what it's all about to them.
Yeah.
In other news, we've got Arsenal.
Yeah.
Arsenal won against Leicester.
Yeah, it was a 1-0 win. Yeah, 1-0 win against Leicester. What was interesting about this game was Arsenal looked like they're back to kind of being okay again. They had a bit of a wobble, last 3 or 4 games, but they look like they're back to winning ways, as it were, and they're looking quite strong and quite confident. And Leicester in this game recorded, let me see if I can get this right, recorded the lowest XG that a team has ever recorded since XG has been started recording. If that makes sense. So
for anyone that doesn't know what XG is, what is XG?
Expected goals. So it basically is a system that calculates the expected rate that a shot would go in, depending on where it is on the pitch, basically. So the further out, the worse the XG. Leicester's accumulated XG over the whole game, not just one effort, was they had a 22-yard effort, so outside of the box, a long shot, which are always low XG efforts. They recorded, depending on where you look, 0.01 XG or 0.02 XG. That's what Leicester did. God. They couldn't lay a glove on Arsenal, who just basically controlled them for the whole game.
Absolutely dominated
that takes some doing, and props to Arsenal for that. It's a shame that they're playing well, but there we go. This is football.
That is what we have to deal with. Stats.
But yeah, I know, crazy. City obviously went on to annihilate Bournemouth. Haaland scores again, making him now the highest goal scorer that I think City have ever had in a Premier League season. Over Aguero.
In his first one, nice.
In his first one, I know, crazy stats, but I love it, to be honest.
Absolute machine.
I just love having such a monster in the league. It's just so fun to watch him play.
So good. It makes us feel like a farmers' league. That's what it
I know, doesn't it? Yeah,
it makes us look so crap that when he got 3 hat tricks in 4 games. Oh mate, I was just I was in awe. I was watching a cyborg.
My fantasy football team was absolutely humming because of him. It was great. They were purring along. He was captain every week. Just gave me so many points.
Honestly, just seeing him dominate everyone, and no one's seen the likes of him in the Premier League. He's
really.
He reminds me of that bloke from Rocky 4. Where he's like
Dolph Lundgren.
He's engineered to be great.
Yeah, for sure.
And we just need our own Rocky to come out.
Yeah, we need a plucky underdog, don't we? With that fighting spirit.
Lukaku, no, joking.
God no.
But it's amazing to see, and they beat Bournemouth 4-1 as expected. Liverpool still not good, but still
0-0 draw with Crystal Palace. Palace are shy. Liverpool are shy, but
they're not as shy as us.
Exactly. So, well, there's no point us celebrating them playing poorly because they're still above us and they probably will finish above us. So it is what it is.
So
but,
Liverpool,
nice to know that they're struggling too.
And you've wrote here, I didn't write this one, heavy links between Declan Rice and Arsenal.
I just saw that today. Apparently, Deckers is quite keen on a move to. I don't know how likely it is that we were going to sign him, because obviously I imagine we'd be his preferred target to sign for. I think he's probably had enough at West Ham as they sit in the bloody relegation spots at the moment. But heavy links between him and Arsenal, who apparently are quite keen on him and look like they might be interested in signing him. Not really massive news, but just something to be aware of. Obviously, with his links to us, it would feel like quite an opportunity missed. I think he's a class player, but with these transfer stories, everything can change. In the blink of an eye. So
speculation.
Who knows?
So
but
never know.
We shall see if that pans out.
Looking on to Leeds, is there anyone you expect to play?
The one thing I thought when I saw the starting lineup get posted on the weekend, I actually said to myself, I don't even care anymore. Like, genuinely, what's the point of reacting to a starting lineup? Like, it is what it is. I can't trust that we're going to play well regardless who we start. I'd hope we'd see Mudryk and Madueke and them start. But I hold no faith.
I think that's the only sort of two I want to see play. Actually, three I want to see players. I want Madueke, I want Mudryk, and I want Datre Fofana all starting. Sure. I want them all starting.
It's literally shuffle Leeds. The deck. Go
it's
for
Leeds,
it.
Go for it. Do something.
But they've got a new manager who can put together quite a nice, tight, compact, organised side. So. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous about coming up against them.
Very nervous. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So that's it. Thank you for tuning in to the Pride Football Thoughts, episode 3. We're absolutely loving this, aren't we? Absolutely loving this. Just to get
it's been good. It's been great.
Just to go through everything, get our thoughts out and our opinions, even though they're probably not the best. But we hope we're sort of entertaining you somewhat. We're really enjoying it. So,
we hope you are too. If you have any feedback, please let us know.
Yes, please put in the comments. Tweet at us, whatever. And even if we're shit, just say we're shit.
But that's all right.
But
just call me a knobhead. It's all right.
Bo, you're a knobhead. So literally anything. We hope you enjoyed it, and it's the Pride FT signing off. I've been Clark.
I've been Bo.
Nice. Peace.
Thanks for listening to The Pride. If you enjoyed what you heard, feel free to leave us a review on your podcast app of choice, and maybe drop a like or follow on our YouTube, Twitter, TikTok and Instagram pages. And as always, up the Chels.